Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this unfortunately very exciting episode about cleaning, which is not very exciting, I know, but it's something that we all actually have to do if we want to go back to living independent. So, if you are watching this video because you are like me and you are a spinal cord injury, um, and you're trying to learn how to live life now, either most of your life or now all of your life in a wheelchair, you have come to the right place because that's all I am now. Now, the one thing with cleaning is when you are first injured, you hurt, like you are broken. And I know it was such a luxury living in like rehab in the hospital and never having to clean up after yourself. But the flip side is like you never actually had a moment where you're alone and people just keep coming into your room to steal your blood. But now you get to come home to your hopefully not a trash palace and try and maintain it. Now, what I have kind of found as I've gone along, if I am going to clean my house, I will also promise you I've gone through a few phases here trying to learn, so hopefully this will help speed you up in your decision like mine. I have like wood floors, so I just need to sweep and mop. I don't really need to vacuum. I did bring the vacuum though because I do have carpet upstairs, but I am a T5 injury and it's complete. So that means like from about here down, I have nothing. That means I have no abs. And that is my excuse for like not doing as many crunches as I should have at any point in my life. But having no abs means that I can't keep myself upright, which I will show you. It's kind of I need to brace against something. That means that I can't just sweep without using like my elbow to keep me up, or just like being fully bent over and sweeping like this. And that's not fun. And as you can tell, like one-handed, it's not very effective. It's not the fastest. It'll get the job done at some point. But when I came home, I learned that mopping is not for me. Not anymore. The amount of water that is required, mainly I would just end up being wet from like chest down, and when you're in a wheelchair it's rather important for you to stay dry anyway, but just the amount of ups and downs that you have to do, also like getting your wheels wet, it means you're just now made your entire house a giant slip and slide. It's not fun. So I do use a Swiffer, which I'm not going to put the pad on. I have I've gone through phases, but for the Swiffer phase, I found this the easiest. You just clean like with a cloth. It is mildly wet. It does the job. It keeps it clean, and it also made your floors slightly shiny. But I did go ahead and I got a Narwhal, which is a more expensive, like souped up Roomba. And I didn't make that comparison because this is not a paid ad. So I'm not cool enough for that. I'm just here to tell you that there is a point where you have to embrace the fact that everything that you do now takes more time. It's a handicap time. If you can eliminate some of your daily tasks, disabled or not, I completely recommend it. Now, I will show you this Narwhal it's kind of taken over the downstairs cleaning, and it does a wonderful job. It does a better job than I have done since I've been injured. I will give it that credit. Now, the one bad thing about it is that it is expensive. It's more expensive than I thought that I was going to be willing to pay for something. But I watch a channel called Jerry Rig Everything. And if you also watch that, his wife is named Cambry. She is also in a wheelchair. And I watched a lot of their videos when I was myself in rehab. And they got one. They said they loved it. Me personally, also love it. But there's a few things that I think could be improved. There are water tanks with the Narwhal. There's a clean one and a dirty one, and I got the clean one out. And I'm a little close to the camera, but it's not very full right now. But if I put it on my leg to carry it, it kind of cuts into my leg and it leaves this really cool honeycomb pattern on it. I don't know if that actually hurts me or not, but I don't know, so I'm not going to do it anymore. I do kind of keep it on the arm of the wheelchair when I am carrying it. So you can't really see this, but this is the table that I'm grabbing onto. I kind of use objects around the house to propel me, or I do one-handed, which it's awkward, it's slow. Then the reason I have to do that is because if it's kind of waterproof this way, but it's not waterproof this way. So if you're leaning it up against you, you just end up super soaked. And if you're doing it with the dirty water and you didn't notice beforehand, you just end up getting covered in dirty, filthy, stinky water. And that's never fun. Never ever. So that is something that could be improved, especially like if you live by yourself. Now, the Narwhal itself is much bigger than I had. I didn't have a Roomba. I had a Shark, which is essentially the same thing, just a different brand and slightly cheaper than a Roomba. And this is the Narwhal. You can name them. There's an app for your phone. The only thing with the app is like the benefit, you can start it when you're upstairs in bed and you don't want to come downstairs. The downfall is if anything gets stuck in this little roller guy, I need you to come save it. And there's no app that has been designed yet that will allow it to eject itself. So you gotta get up and you gotta go save it. The one thing I don't like about it is that in my house, I have two giant just filth dispensers named dogs, and they bring the outside in all day long, which I love. They're living their best dog life. But this mop, you're supposed to replace it every 3 months. I've had it about a month. It's not gonna last every 3 months in the summer. Maybe in the winter time when everything is like white up here and clean, but not now. And as you can see, it's got a nice little hair clump stuck in it anyway. I will say, this guy, even though I've had it for a month, I've only had to save him 7 times. And if you've had a Roomba or anything like that, that's a very low number. I'm not even doing it once a day. So even though my dog likes to bring in like little sticks and tear them into tiny little pieces, which I see all over my floor right now, that's got to be cleaned. It does a good job of just sucking it up or like pushing the things aside instead of just getting hung up on it. But it is like anything else. You got to take care of it. It does clean itself, which I like. It cleans and dries the mops. It does not clean its base itself, which you can't have everything. It's you know, it's not $1 million machine. So you do have to take that out. Me personally, I'm pretty certain you're supposed to do it more often, but I've only had to clean it like every week and a half. Uh, it gets very full of like mud and hair. But otherwise, the floors look amazing. It does it almost, well, I've already said it does a better job than I did with the floors. It takes it about 3.5 hours to do, which, to be fair, that it takes me about 3 hours to clean the floors now, and to actually clean them, to sweep and to get the vacuum and do underneath the couch and everything, and to do the Swiffer. And I can't do that every day. I have a full-time job. I have a life. I can do that like a full deep clean like once a week. That's just reality. And that's probably your reality. Um, no one wants to spend 3 hours of their day just cleaning one part of their house. So if you can, I recommend like you getting tools to help you. Um, I'm where I live, there's no way I can get like a maid service to help me. I can't get like an aide out here. So that's just an option that I don't have. So I don't get it. I can't be sad about the fact I can't have it. I just gotta fix it and learn how to live with it, which you have your own choices to make in that decision. If you want to buy a narwhal, buy a narwhal, buy a cheaper version, or get a maid service, or get a really nice friend or family member that loves to come over and clean for you. But if you're like me, you're never going to ask for help. You're never going to accept help. So that takes that option off the table. And I guess since we're on that note, if you are a friend or family member that has someone in your life that you are trying to help and they don't accept help like me, which I'm sure is very frustrating to be on the other side of, the only, like, if you're asking them for help and they're saying no, they don't need help, and you can clearly see that they do, it's time to switch your tactics. And if you're not willing to do that, then don't. But like, I really ask you to ask yourself how much you love and care about that person, because if they're newly injured, they're just trying to get their life back on track. And sometimes, like, if you ask someone if they want help, the answer is always going to be no, because they do not want help. They do not. But they might need help. And that's the difference. They don't want to feel like a burden to anyone. So what I would recommend maybe is asking if they want to hang out, then come over. You see things that need done, and you just do them. And you don't hang it over their head. Don't tell them like they're a slob or they're lazy, or even insinuate it. Just understand that they are going through something really hard, and you have no idea what it's like, because you could have explained this to me 1,000 times and I would not be able to actually have comprehended it. I could have empathy and like understand like what not being able to walk means again, but there's so much more to it that I can't explain it to you sufficiently, and I know that without you actually going through it. So on that note, again, if you don't want help and you just want to be left alone because you have been traumatized by, you know, people putting their fingers in wherever place they want whenever they care to, hospital staff, love you, but also I think at some point you need to remember that everybody's a human being and not just a patient. A patient's a person. That's why it starts with a P. But the fact of the matter is that everything changes when you have a spinal cord injury, and everything that you used to do, you're going to be able to do it again, just in a different way. And remember, what do we say to adversity? Bring it on. And if you're not motivated by adversity, find a way to make it easier for you, and then you won't have adversity anymore. That's just it. This is life now. There's nothing that you can do that's going to change it, so you just have to deal with it. And I know that's hard, and it's also probably very hard to watch someone go through it, but that's the thing about life. Jurassic Park finds a way. I love you all. And I have a great day, and let me know if you have any tips for me or anything else that you want to know in the comments. And I will see you next time.